Peace will fill the world when we finally understand that only from within can it be spread throughout the land. Every single person living peace in what we do, only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.
Good morning, friends. I'm Leona Evans, minister at Unity of San Luis Obispo, an inclusive, progressive spiritual community affirming the good in all life. How wonderful that we're here together on this beautiful Sunday morning, honoring the Spirit of God in all people, in all life, in all creation. And so, this morning we have a very special service for you. We're going to be talking about the art of letting go. And believe me, it is an art form and it takes a lot of practice. But when we're ready, we always succeed. But we need to get ready. So we're going to be talking about that today. The first thing we need to do is just relax and let go of any of the chores that you have to do during the day or people you need to connect with later on Zoom. Right now, it is our responsibility to relax and let go of any distraction, to recognizing and honoring the Spirit of God within us. So, make sure that you're feeling comfortable. Take a deep breath. Let your muscles relax. Clear your mind and focus on this reality. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, Spirit, the good, omnipresent, the source of all love, the source of power and strength and wisdom and wholeness, right within the spectrum of our consciousness. Breathe deeply again and let us give thanks as we affirm together, I am now open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth. Once again, together, I am now open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth. Let's listen to Matthew J. Evans sing a powerful joy song for us.
Good morning. Today we're going to sing Ain't Gonna Carry That Load No More by Mark Welch. Please sing along with the lyrics on the bottom of the screen. I ain't gonna carry that load no more. I ain't gonna carry that load. I'm gonna take that pain and lay it down, 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 down. I ain't gonna carry that load no more. I ain't gonna carry that load. I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go. I ain't gonna carry that load no more. I ain't gonna carry that load. I'm gonna take that pain and lay it down, 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 down. I ain't gonna carry that load no more. I ain't gonna carry that load. I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go.
Thank you so much, Matthew. That was terrific. That was excellent. It's a wonderful, wonderful song by Mark Welch, who says, I ain't gonna carry that load no more. I ain't gonna carry that load. I'm gonna take that pain and lay it down, 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 down. I ain't gonna carry that load no more. I ain't gonna carry that load. I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go. Powerful, powerful words. I would ask that you memorize them. I would ask that you not only commit them to memory, but recognize that these words are among the most powerful of all of our affirmations, because it talks about, number one, our power of choice. When I decide that I'm not, or I ain't, or whatever form you wish to phrase it in, going to carry that load, what I'm doing is exercising my divine power of will. I'm making a choice to do something and to not do something else. In this case, it is the denial, not the psychological denial, but the denial portion of denial and affirmation. I ain't going to carry that load. What I'm going to do is take that pain and lay it down, because I ain't going to carry that load no more. Why? Again, the affirmation, I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go. Okay. Well, it certainly sounds simple enough, and in some cases, it is. There are certain things that we let go of all the time in favor of something else that is more effective. I'm talking about products that we would buy, or we would say, oh, this is my favorite toner for my computer. It's got all my favorite colors, and I'm going to keep on using it. And then technology advances, something else comes along, and you say, no, I'm going to let go of that because this one has an added benefit and a lower price. So we do it all the time. We let go, we appropriate something else, we move on, we keep watch over what it is that we purchase, and we recognize that there are times when we do need to let go of one particular thing and embrace something else. So it's not that we don't know how to do it. It's just that when we move from the realm of the senses to the realm of the abstract, the realm of the absolute, as we like to say in Unity, the realm of pure energy and unlimited potential, the decisions are a lot less cut and dry. They're a lot less easy to grasp. They have many different components in them. Letting go of a certain belief, letting go of a habit that has become so much a part of us that we actually consider it to be who we are. This is what I do because this is who I am. And so when situations come up in life and we're being asked to let go of that belief in order to make room for something new and more magnanimous, more loving, a habit that gives us greater opportunities to honor and express our divine potential. Well, it's not that simple as letting go of one product and buying another. It's not simple at all, because I'm not being asked, or we're not being asked, to let go of a particular thing that we use. It feels like we're being asked to let go of who we are. And that's kind of tough. We feel a lot of resistance around that. Nobody has the power to tell me not to be me. And I've always been me, and I've always expressed myself this way. Therefore, that's who I am. But the great mystical traditions tell us that that's a lie that our ego tells us in order to keep control over situations. The ego is that part of consciousness that is limited by time, space, and a desire to be paid attention to be loved, to be honored, to be blessed, to never be found at fault for anything. And so the ego is not very good at taking feedback, not very good at all, and will always look for ways to justify our behavior. Our ego says, you tell me that I'm at fault for saying or doing a certain thing. Well, I wouldn't be doing it unless you forced me to, or unless you made me, or unless you manipulated me. It's not who I am, it's who you are. So when I have to let go, rather than letting go of my behavior, which I have erroneously regarded as my true self, I'll let go of you first. You can't make me feel that way. You can't make me feel less than whole. You can't make me feel like I've done something wrong or made a mistake. And so we ask the ego, and this is something we can do. We can talk to our inner critic. We can name our inner critic. We can understand that everyone has an inner critic that's part of a subset of subpersonalities, and this one's job is to protect us from harm, from failure, from reaching out in ways that will cause us embarrassment or defeat. So the critic is not against us. The critic is just holding on to what it knows is safety and security. But the fact is, it has a very narrow base of reference, very narrow. The ego's world is narrow, and it's all about me making sure that I win, and other people, if they have to lose, they have to lose. But I have to make sure that I win and that nobody tries to take me down because, well, you know how people are. They're always trying to get you, always trying to take you down. So the ego talks to us like that. The ego, the inner critic aspect, scares us because it comes at us with such intensity. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't let them make you feel vulnerable. Don't let them make you feel weak. Don't let them interrupt the status quo or tell you that you're not who you believe yourself to be. So, yeah, I would say that that's a big challenge. It's a big challenge because we need to get in touch with the divine I am within us, the big me, as we have often said in this wonderful children's book, which is good for children of all ages, called The Great Me and the Little Me. The great me is wise. The great me has an observer self who can point out what the critic is trying to do. The critic is so frightened and so insecure and so noisy and volatile. It's just everything is about its own survival. But the observer self says, look at the critic getting all bent up out of shape. Look at the critic telling you you're not allowed to make mistakes. Look at the critic telling you that you have to be flawless or you're nothing. And you can't let anyone give you feedback, because if you do, then you'll be giving up who you are. But the observer self continues, I know who you really are. You're divine by nature. You are individualized spirit on this incredible journey, not to become more spiritual, but to become more human. And in order to do that, you need to sift through all the beliefs that you have incorporated in your early life before you learn to walk and talk and make decisions of your own. You heard a lot of feedback about what's right and wrong and what good little girls or boys have to do in order to stay good, and so many things that caused a rigidity in consciousness and a fear of making mistakes. Then you go ahead and get into unity or new thought teachings, and you hear, well, at least you hear from me, is that mistakes can be some of the most valuable behaviors we can engage in because they clarify right before our eyes, if we interpret them wisely. They clarify where we have been going off the path as far as our beliefs are concerned. They clarify what exactly happened when we thought we were doing the right thing and somehow it was misperceived or misunderstood, or somehow the thing went awry. The observer says, you and I, the divine I am, and the observer self can take a look at some of those issues and say, oh, I was afraid, for example, that I wasn't allowed to make mistakes, that if I made mistakes, I wouldn't be good. The observer self says, well, there's a new belief, a greater belief, a wiser belief that you can incorporate into your life, which will help you feel much more loved and lovable. What is it? Well, it's the belief that you're already spiritual by nature. It's the belief that making mistakes is some of the greatest educational opportunities we can have. It helps us see that without blame or shame, we can identify situations in which we have believed something that turns out not to be true. And we can find ways to be much more non-resistance to the process of learning and growing. Yeah, mistakes can be your friend. And so the observer self says, I will help you understand that. I won't blame you or shame you like the critic does. I won't tell you that you're bad because you made this mistake like the critic does. Because you're not. God is love. God is spirit indwelling all life. Therefore, we're all lovable by nature. But we were taught a lot of different things about ourselves that cause us to fear or to worry or to be concerned that we're just deep down inside not good enough. So, if we continue to do that, if we continue to believe that way, we will bat our heads against the wall of evolution and light and life every minute of the day. If we take a deep breath, and if we open ourselves to a greater reality, there are all kinds of opportunities that await us that will fill our souls with peace and love.
Here's an original song that my wife Julia Mitchell and I wrote together from her album, Where Innocence Can Live. The song is The Gift of Love. In your heart is a magic wand that will bring you to a land of plenty, where all the streams run clear, where the children have no fear. The gift of love will never disappear. In your heart is a was closed to you before. It's the gift of love you've opened to explore. Follow the path beyond your senses. Journey into the castles of your dreams. Over the walls of your defenses, shower love upon all things. In your heart is a golden thread that will bind you to the lives of many. With every thread you weave, there's a person who'll perceive. With the gift of love they've opened to receive. Follow the path beyond your senses. Journey inside the castles of your dreams. Over the walls of your defenses. On into the light of your inner sight. So begins an adventure grand that will bring you to the lives of many. Behold the secret there to a life beyond compare. It's the gift of love you found and now can share. Open up the gift of love and you are there. The gift of love.
Thank you so very much, Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans. The Gift of Love, written by Brett and Julia Mitchell. What a wonderful, wonderful song. And it is the answer to our dilemma. What's keeping us from letting go is the fact that we don't feel the love and the support and the strength and the power to understand that who we really are is so much more than we've ever believed ourselves to be. And we have resilience. The inner critic, who, by the way, we don't ever really let go of. What we do is embrace the inner critic as an aspect of consciousness who has a job to do, a much smaller job than we have given him or her in the past. The ego self, the inner critic, does its best job when it's finding dust bunnies under the bed or mistakes in our income tax return. That's where the inner critic shines. So in the divine economy, we don't talk about getting rid of aspects of consciousness. What we do is transform them and open ourselves up to a whole new level of strength and power and inner security. I have two illustrations that share with you what can happen in consciousness when we are determined to let go of something, determined to handle it and deal with it, but somehow it loses its importance in our consciousness. One of these stories happened to me years ago when I was a student at Unity Ministerial School, and I was expecting company. It was a study group. Some of my student colleagues and friends were bringing pizza, and as I looked at the dining room table just as the doorbell rang, I realized I had a whole bunch of papers and mail that I hadn't read and all of that stuff. It was on the table. And I ran and got one of those white garbage bags, and I just took everything off the table, put it in the bag, tied it up, threw it in the closet, and answered the door and calmly said, "How wonderful to see you. Yes, of course, I was expecting you, and as always, I'm on time and prepared." Well, everybody knew that wasn't true. But the point is that we had the evening, we studied, we shared, we had a social time. It was great. They left. And the next morning was another school day, so I went off to school. About 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after that incident, I started getting reminders from utility companies saying, "You haven't paid this bill and you're in arrears and we're going to charge you interest on this." And I was so confused. I couldn't see straight. I didn't know why they were sending me reminders and why they were charging me. Didn't I always pay my bills on time? Well, I don't know how many months it was after I straightened all of those things out and tried to explain that I didn't get a bill and I didn't know what they were talking about, and I just didn't know why everybody was suddenly so upset with me. It was months later that I actually went into that front coat closet and I saw the white trash bag that I had put all the mail into. I had completely forgotten that it was there. And when I saw it, I said, "Oh, no wonder everybody was upset with me." I mean, I received them. I hadn't looked at them. Before I got a chance to do anything with them, I just put them away and forgot that they existed. Now, the upside of this is it makes an incredible teaching story, doesn't it? I mean, I've used this for, well, over 35 years to talk about the power of the mind to drop into the unconscious, into the shadow, bits and pieces of information that can sometimes be very important to our growth and our evolution, but now are unavailable to us because they slipped into the unconscious. Now, even though this was a deliberate act on my part, I wouldn't say it was conscious. I did it, but I was thinking, "Oh, these people are at the door. I have to get rid of all this clutter, and I should have done it before, but I didn't." And that's basically what I was there. So I throw the thing in there, and months later, when I saw the bag, I literally froze, thinking, "Wow, how could I have allowed that to happen?" Along with, what an incredible opportunity to use this story. I mean, you can't make these things up, seriously. So I began to realize that there are times when we think, "Oh, this situation happened. It was a really difficult situation. There's something I have to learn from it. There's something I can do about it. There's some kind of change that I need to make." And then life takes over. And we're looking over here and we're looking over there and we're doing this and we're doing that. And we forget. And also, let's keep in mind that one of the things our ego does not want us to do is to suffer in any way or to go through any kind of pain. We hate pain. We don't want pain. We don't want to go through it. We want everything in life to be painless. We just don't want things to be hard. So we whisk them away somewhere. And I can only give thanks that I eventually found this thing, because I have used that example in my own life for years. I understand perfectly how it happens. There are things that we don't want to deal with in life because we think they'll bring us pain, we think they'll bring us down. And so the mind, this incredible, brilliant mind that we have, has a way of complying with our wishes and just dropping it down into the unconscious. And for all intents and purposes, it doesn't exist anymore. Well, so one reason why we don't release more or genuinely let go of more things is that we have a way that seems convenient for us, even though this takes place unconsciously, to not deal with it, to not find a way to deal with it, just to consider it just not worth the trouble. But the fact is, it's worth the trouble if we can use that experience and grab it and examine it and learn from it and understand where we might have unwittingly made a mistaken perception or believed ourselves to be so fragile that we just couldn't handle it and didn't want to deal with it. I'm not saying that we're not fragile in many ways. I'm saying that the fragility comes with believing those false and untrue attitudes of mind that unfortunately are very common in our cultures today, and that is that we're not good enough and that we can't handle it. Remember that phrase, you can't handle the truth? Well, a lot of us feel that way. No, I don't want to deal with unpleasant things because they're unpleasant and I shouldn't have to. But what makes them so valuable, just like the archaeologist and their little brush, and they dig and find this piece of dirt. But inside of it, if they continue to use that little brush for days and weeks and months, there's a chance of uncovering an incredible piece of history that's in there, an incredible opportunity to find value and meaning and to help us get over the fact that we can't handle the truth. We can. We are strong enough. And when we know that we're strong enough, we're able to say, oh, look, here's a situation. I didn't mean to cause any harm, but inadvertently I did. And so I want to make amends as much as possible and clear the air while I learn from what I did so I don't have to repeat it. By the way, that is one reason that we repeat mistakes so often, is that we forget to learn from them. We drop them down into that dark place, and the next time we approach a similar situation, we have nothing to reference it because it's gone from our memory. So that's one thing I want to share with you. And the other thing I want to share in terms of understanding how much of a part the ego plays in our understanding of who we are, I want to share with you a TV program that I've watched on and off for quite a few years. It's part of reality TV, and it's called Hoarders. And it shows the life of individuals who, for one reason or another, are afflicted with the belief that the objects around them are part of who they are. And they continue to collect them. They collect them every day. Very often they go through garbage cans or go through old consignment stores, and they try to pick up anything that they can to fill their homes, and very often their living space is very small because they can't get through hallways, and their bathrooms aren't working, and their beds are often piled upon with all kinds of things that we would call junk. But these people believe that these things are part of who they are. And so when loving family members come along and they say, you know, you're going to have to get rid of this stuff, or if the city comes along and says, we're going to have to repossess this home unless you comply with the city's laws, you know, for sanitation and cleanliness, we are going to have to repossess this home. Then they call in the professionals. But even though these individuals who we call hoarders realize on some level that there's too much stuff, they have an extremely hard time parting with it. But that's a part of me, but that's my memory, but I need it. I feel empty without it. This is the affliction. And the reason I bring this up is not only to bless anybody who is dealing with issues of hoarding, but to help us make an analogy between what the hoarders are doing and what we do when somebody gives us feedback for a mistake or an error in perception we've made, and we say, but that's who I am. I'm not going to give that up. I have to defend myself. I can't be wrong. That's who I am. I've come to see that it's a little bit like the hoarder who can't let go of even things that don't work. So, for our spiritual preparation for Easter, I am strongly suggesting that we commit to memory. I ain't going to carry that load no more. I'm going to let go. And to really, share this service with a friend, talk about it, deal with it. If you're going to counseling, bring it up as a talking point and try to understand why letting go can be so hard if we believe that either we can't handle any quote-unquote negative feedback, or two, that people are wanting us to stop being who we are. Let's take a moment in the quiet to let go. Take a deep breath now and relax. Breathe deeply. Feel the presence of Spirit moving in and through every aspect of your being. Feel yourself filled with the light of wisdom, guidance, and clarity. You were born to live life to the fullest, to express your divine individuality. Nothing can keep you from being who you are. And for us to cooperate with the divine process of growth and evolution, we need to regularly release and let go of all that is blocking our path. when we are filled with spiritual poise and confidence, we can do that by affirming, I now release and let go of all interference, negative beliefs, and ego-centered thoughts that keep me from expressing my highest good. I am free to let go of all ideas and beliefs that have outworn their usefulness. I relax and let it go. And we feel clarity, peace, and spiritual strength to do what is ours to do. And so it is. Amen. Let's take a moment to bless our tithes and gifts that we would share with Unity of San Luis Obispo. Unity of San Luis Obispo is completely supported by your tithes and offerings. Through your gifts, we're able to expand our ministry services, and we're able to bless more and more people with our work and our books and our teachings. And so thank you for being part of this virtual ministry. We are literally reaching people all around the world. And I'm very excited about this virtual ministry. I bless all of you who are part of this. I would love to know your names. I would love to know that you have gone to our website or our Facebook and leave us a message of encouragement, of support, and of any kind of feedback in terms of what you would like to see in this ministry. I would also like to ask that if any of you do a workshop or any type of presentation along the lines of our teachings, that you consider doing it through Unity of San Luis Obispo and our capabilities to reach people throughout the world. So, your tithes and offerings mean a lot. And so I would like to remind you that you have a stake in this ministry. This ministry thrives because you want it to, and because we want to share the message of equality and human rights for all people. And this voice needs to be heard right now. And so thank you for understanding that not only are you a part of this ministry, but that as you give, so shall you receive. 30, 60, 100 times over. So let's speak the words of our prosperity statement together. I give in love because I love to give. God is my source. And so it is. Amen.
Here's a tune I wrote several years ago called Meditation Bridge. Meditation Bridge off the Passages CD.
Thank you so much, Brett Mitchell and Matthew J. Evans. Beautiful original composition by Brett called Meditation Bridge. We are so fortunate that we have the opportunity to take our time of meditation and inner contemplation every week and relax to Brett Mitchell's original music. Please check his website or check our website because there's his information on there as well, unityslow.org. Let's sing our peace song, shall we?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let's speak the words of our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. God bless you all. Please tune in to our podcast, Get Off Your Affirmation. My son Matthew and I have wonderful conversations about fascinating topics. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great week. You deserve it.
Every single person living peace in what we do. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true. Only then will our dream come true.